God, it's like your worst nightmare. Not yours, mine. Looking at all these me's over the years. My body and soul trapped into tape and film. I'll tell you something, looking back at all these pictures, watching the changes, hits the old ego a bit hard. I see the sideboards, they start to go up and then come down. The chin, not quite as firm as it should be. The slim figure begins to thicken. Look, I'm beginning to go gray. Look, it's beginning to fall out. I now have more hair on my ears than I have on my head, and I'm wearing glasses. Well, let's see if the comedy has stood up a little bit better to the ravages of time than my body.
Guess who?
Don't be so bloody stupid.
They say behind every great man there is a woman. Behind Caesar there was Cleopatra. Behind Napoleon there was Josephine. Behind Nelson there was Lady Hamilton. And what happened? The men died and the women lived on and on and on. Women are very different, actually. For example, you get the two women talking to one another and saying, I say, isn't that Mr. Carruthers across the road? Yes, he does. Yes, yeah, mm-hmm. She said, doesn't he dress nicely? She said, yes, and very quickly, too. Look at a young lady who has been seduced for the very first time ever in a motor car, or anywhere else, for that matter. And she begins to weep for things lost. And he said, darling, don't cry. What do you mean? What do you mean don't cry? Peace. You man, peace. Don't remember you said don't cry. I'm gonna go home and tell my mommy and my daddy that I have been seduced twice. He said, I've only done it once. She said, you're going to do it again, aren't you? Well, a lot of people think that the Irish come across here because of work, economics, or even religious persecution. It's got nothing to do with that. The reason we come to your country is because over here, you're a permissive society. In Ireland, we're not. Here, you have sex before marriage. In Ireland, we do not. We come to get our share. The Irish are very good at populating other countries. In more ways than one. So for all you know, you might be laughing at your brother. The two Irish fellows talking about sex before marriage, and one tells the other, he said, what do you think about sex before marriage? He said, I don't think about it. He said, well, I know I never had sex with my wife before we were married. Did you? He said, I've no idea. What's her name? You get, in Ireland, actually, you get what we call the fire and brimstone preachers. And you get the fella in the pulpit, and he's saying, I will tell you about the great judgment day. Guess who that is? I will tell you on that day, the great book will be opened. And all your sins, whether mental or physical, will be on that book. And the Lord will
gnashing of teeth.
There's an old woman down the front. She says,
I don't have any teeth. I said teeth will be provided. And remember the words of the good book. Let he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. What are you doing, Sergeant?
Morning, sir. Minefield laying, sir.
Let me tell you, Sergeant, that the whole essence of mine laying is that the damn things cannot be seen. You've left lumps everywhere.
Oh.
Give me that spade.
Sir.
You do is you smooth the whole thing nicely down like that and just give it a little put.
It's...
My God! It's a dart!
Oh, no. Oh.
This is a dart used by the Igano Indians. Dipped into poison made from the red lime tree.
Oh, and usually used by...
One man and one man only. My deadly enemy, Moriarty.
Oh, God, Holmes.
Watson? Yes? If the poison from this dart is not sucked from your posterior, within the next 15 seconds, you shall die.
So what's going to happen?
You're going to die.
We must inspect this cart. You British fools, always you are trying to escape.
And always we are finding you.
Always, yeah.
Oh.
There is no way the wool you are pulling over our eyes. Rouse, open the gates! Come on, come on.
5 years I fought in the Holy Wars. For what? Salvation? No. Glory? No. The Great Plague sweeps my land, and yet I, who want to die, still live. Must I wait for death? Or shall I end it all now? With one quick stroke of my sword to find eternal peace? Yes, that is what I shall do. And yet, that is the act of a coward. You know, a lot of people write in and ask me, say, why do I drink during the show? And is it because I need the drink to get through the show? And I can tell you here now, actually, the reason I drink is because it does, sitting here for 45 minutes, get very hot. There's a tremendous amount of light. And the only reason I have the drink is basically to keep cool. I want to make it quite clear that I am not reliant on alcohol in any way to get me right through this. Get away from that! You think I get through the show? Duck shooters. Drunks are great characters. Duck shooting. in the hide, very early in the morning, very cold, no sign of the duck. And I have a little drop of rum to keep warm, and still no sign of the duck. And I have another little drop, and still no sign of the duck. And another and to the duck. One big, fat, lonely, dirty duck goes across the sky, all by himself. Flap. Quack, quack. Quack, quack. And the duck picks up his shotgun and goes, ba-doom, ba-doom, and that goes into the lake. And his friend's there and he said, that is what I call great shooting. He said, well, you're bound to hit one out of a whole flock. And he said, Ducky, go and get the ducky, Ducky. And the dog, instead of jumping into the water and swimming to the duck, runs across the top of the water. Picks up the duck and comes back, and the fellow says, do you notice anything strange about that dog? He said, yeah, he doesn't swim. There were two drunks. One, very good fisherman, and the other has never fished in his life. And he said, what do I do? What do I do to fish? He said, well, you get the hook and you put the bait on the hook. And he does. I said, well, what do I do now? He says, you cast it out into the river. And he said, what do I do? He said, just wait. And after about 20 minutes, he gets a bite. He said, well, what do I do now? He says, reel it in. And he reels in so far, the fish is rammed up to the top of the... And he said, what do I do now? He says, you climb to the top of the rod and stab it to death. He gave the other fellow walking down the road with a little penguin on a piece of string. The policeman said, hey, where did you get a penguin? She said, walking down the road, and it was there. Little penguin, and it's all on its own, and I was... He said, well, take him to the zoo. She said, oh, okay. Off he goes. Next day, the policeman was there. Coming around the corner is the drunk with the penguin. He said, I thought I told you to take that penguin to the zoo. She said, I did, and he liked it, and I'm taking him to the library now.